Okay, I call the meeting to order. We're going to move into our invocation with Tracy Jarvis.
Let's pray. Father, we just thank you for another great and glorious day, a day that you have made, a day we can rejoice and be glad in. And we just want to say tonight, Father, that you are beautiful and wonderful and glorious and holy. We just love you tonight, Lord. And Father, we thank you most of all for sending your Son, Lord Jesus, to rescue us from our sins, to pay our sin debts, to give us eternal hope and life, and that great love that we have through you, Lord. I thank you for this beautiful city, Lord. I thank you, Father, for the beautiful council members, the mayor, the city staff, city manager, deputy city manager, all the citizens here at Villa Rica. This is a wonderful place, Lord. Privileged to work here. And I just pray that your peace and blessings, Father, would just go over everyone here in this council meeting, that your plans and will would come to pass in life today, Father God, that your will would be done here in Villa Rica, that you guide and direct our footsteps, would experience your peace, your blessings, your love, and your joy, Lord. And we just pray for a great meeting tonight and a great evening and safety for everybody that came out. And when they're going back home, we love you and thank you. And thank you for the cross, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Okay, Officer Kai Waldo for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Kyle wasn't able to make it, so Kim Merrill was gonna do it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Thank you, Tracy, for the invocation. Tracy is our Building Development Director. And thank you, Officer Tim Merrill, for the Pledge of Allegiance. Officer Tim Merrill spent 10 years in the U.S. Army. Am I pronouncing that right? Is it? Okay. Spent 10 years in the U.S. Army. He enlisted in 1992 and initially got out in 2000. However, after 9/11, he re-enlisted in October of 2001 and served another 2 years before getting out in November of 2003. He did one tour in Iraq and one tour in Bosnia. He enlisted as an armor crewman on Abrams main battle tank, but spent most of his career in specialized units. Officer Merrill has been a police officer for 15 years and been with Villa Rica since November 2023. He has been employed with the Roswell Police Department, where he was on their SWAT team and a sniper team leader for 5 years. He was also a sergeant at the Harley Police Department, where he was employed for almost 6 years before coming to Villa Rica. Officer Merrill is married to his wonderful wife, Sarah, who is an audiologist. Thank you all for your time and doing that for us. And now we're going to move to the ceremonial presentations. Or did I miss? I didn't miss anything, did I? Okay, the ceremonial presentations. The Villa Rica Police Department State Certification, Chief Mansour.
I'm not Chief Mansour. Oh, okay. Good evening.
Hi, can we get,
I'm George Watson. I'm the Chief of Police at the University of West Georgia. That's my full-time job. My duty here tonight is I'm representing the Georgia Association Chiefs of Police, and I'm here tonight to award the Villa Rica Police Department for their outstanding work and their outstanding effort for achieving their state certification. And I want to read a letter from the Executive Director of the Georgia Association Chief of Police. It's addressed to Chief Mansour. The GACP congratulates the Villa Rica Police Department for becoming a state certified agency. Your achievement and hard work have placed you in the top tier of law enforcement in Georgia. Achieving state certification not only requires a thorough review of current policies and procedures, but ensures application of state law enforcement standards by your agency. To confirm these requirements were met, your agency was rigorously reviewed by experienced law enforcement professionals and 2 committees for final recommendation of approval for your certification, which will be in effect for 3 years. Achieving state certification demonstrates your agency's ongoing commitment to building community partnerships and public trust through continuous review and adherence to best practices and standards. GACP would like to thank you for strengthening the state certification program and for being a true blueprint for success in the field of law enforcement. And it was respectfully signed by Butch Ayers, the Executive Director of the Georgia Association of Chief of Police. I'd like to invite Chief Mansour to come forward and accept this plaque. And it so reads. Yeah, y'all, everybody come up here. This was they all did play a part. And just a comment while everybody's assembling. The standards, it's a set of state standards, 141 of them. And one comment was there were only 7 out of these files that they have to put together. There were only 7 of those files that had to be, be re-examined and sent back, and they fixed it. So, this assessment process is very rigorous and very hard and very stressful. They're all going, yes, it's very stressful. And when they went through this process, sending these files back, they were able, under the stress that they were under, were able to pull these files and get these files where they needed to be. But I want to read this plaque. The State of Georgia Law Enforcement Certification. Be hereby known that the Billerica Police Department has fully demonstrated its commitment to law enforcement excellence and best practices by meeting all applicable standards as established in the Georgia Law Enforcement Certification Program. Therefore, upon recommendation of the Joint Review Committee of the Georgia Law Enforcement Certification Program, this agency is hereby recognized as a certified law enforcement agency for the period of August 2025 through July 2028. And it's signed by the President. It's also signed by the Governor of the state of Georgia. And this will proudly hang in their lobby. And invite everybody to come by and take a look at this. Congratulations. Yes, you can.
You gonna come down? So this definitely was a joint effort. This is a lot of standards that we have to meet and prove, and it's, we've done this, is, I think, since I've been here, this is either the 5th time we've done it and gotten it done. And like I said, it is a group project. It's not something that one person can do. Tim has been our certification manager for a while and has done an outstanding job, but he's had a whole lot of help too. And the one person that wasn't able to be here is Chris Baxter. Chris helped a lot too. She works with us part-time and she's done a fantastic job. So thank you, all of you, for what you've done and the hard work that we did to get this done. Thank you.
All right, we're moving on to a 5-year employee anniversary recognition for Tracy Jarvis.
I've got three of them to hand out tonight, and the first one being Tracy Jarvis. He is our development director, and he's also the best builder of a lot of the city projects that you see in my report. He sends me a lot of the pictures of the before and afters. Him and his team work very hard, save the city a lot of money on doing a lot of in-house projects. And aside from that, he's a great leader. He's a good mentor to Nick and his staff. He is a man of his word, a man of faith, and he is just a joy to work with. And I enjoy just spending time with him, whether it be talking about developments or just talking about our family and the love that we have for them. So congratulations on 5 years.
Okay, next 5-year anniversary is Amanda Long,
Amanda, come on up here.
our interim finance
Yes.
director.
Amanda, again, is just a great person, a great employee. I enjoy working with her. I have made a very good close friend, and she is an Excel wizard. So if you have any Excel issues or want to learn something with Excel, she is your go-to person. But you will not find a more tender-hearted, sweet person than Amanda. She works really hard. She really, truly cares about what she does, and she really, truly wants to help anybody with anything that they need help in, but especially Excel. But congratulations on 5 years, and I love you. But she does like Tennessee.
Okay, next up for 5-year employee anniversary recognition is John Bain, our interim deputy city manager / or utilities director.
Yeah. Last but certainly not least, I promised him I would be nice. But no, John is just a great person. You know, when I took on this interim role as city manager, I came before y'all and said, you know, I have a team I want to build interim wise. And I spoke with John before, and I was like, that's somebody that I see that could support me, support the city, and has a wealth of knowledge in an area that I'm not so strong in, but he really makes me feel good about what we're doing. He's taught me a lot. He's a good mentor for me on the water and sewer side. And we joke around a lot. I consider him a great friend, even though he's an Ohio State fan. But congratulations.
And last but not least, for 5-year employee anniversary recognition, Tyler Gable, wastewater lab analyst.
So Tyler and I started just a couple weeks apart from each other. He came aboard a couple weeks before I did. one of the first gentlemen I met when I worked there. He had just started out as essentially an operator in training. He came to us from Carroll County, but not in this field. So was his first opportunity to work in the utilities industry. But it didn't take long for Tyler to really excel. He's really, really bright, and he really picked up on all the nuances of operating the facility as well as the laboratory. So it wasn't long after he started where he was able to achieve his Class 3 certification from the state to operate the facility. And then as soon as it was time for him, as soon as he had enough time to get his Class 2, he went and took that test and passed that test. And those tests, by the way, are not easy at all. There's a lot of science, a lot of math involved, and he just excelled at that. And so then he went on to get his Class 1 wastewater license, which is actually the highest license you can achieve in that field. And he also, while doing that, he was able to obtain his wastewater laboratory certification. And he's been our laboratory technician for the past couple of years, and we are now in conversation about some additional responsibilities and roles for Tyler because he's really excelled at each of his things that he's looked at and tried to do. He's really excelled at each of those. So we're really glad to have him with us. We hope he stays with us for many more years to come, and we can be up here in 5 more years and have this conversation again. So congratulations, Tyler. And Tyler would like to say a few words.
Adoption of the agenda.
Madam Mayor, now there's one item on the agenda that staff would like to ask to be removed from the agenda this evening. That would be item B, building development, which is the appeal of a utility capacity decision. Staff's been in contact and we believe that some more information needs to be gathered before that's brought to the council for decision. So we'd ask that to be tabled until the January meeting.
Okay. Are there any other items that need to be removed, added?
Okay, I'll move that we adopt the agenda as amended.
All in favor? Anybody opposed?
That is unanimous.
Okay. All right, we're going to move into public comment. As many times as I've heard it, I should know it word for word, but I know there's a little spiel that has been said by multiple mayors, so I'm going to paraphrase and say, be nice, be respectful, and as my grandmother in Alabama used to say, don't be ugly. So I'm going to call the first name, and that is Alita Farmer.
Good evening, City Council and Pro Tem. I'm thankful to be before you today. Last meeting that we were here, there were some very disturbing things that took place here. And I want to be able to address Councilman number 2, Ward 2. He asked the question, if I had received $1 million, would I have stopped protesting, stopped voicing my personal opinions and concerns about what the city of Villa Rica was doing? Yes, I never stopped. But what you fail to include with the public that is very disturbing is the initiation of that particular document stem from the city of Villa Rica approaching my family, going to, well, not my family, but me and Pam White in regards to alternative routes. That was brought to us in October, well, I think it probably was 2024. So it took Mr. Montahan almost a year to bring this before the council. I want you to be aware that the council, as well as the interim city manager, Mr. Reese, said that he did not want no public comments about this because it involved other people's property. Out of respect for the city and authority, I respected that. But I'm going to let you know tonight why that happened. When someone tells you that you would leave the rest of your neighborhood alone and not displace the elderly people in our community, and that this was the best route to take so that we would not disrupt and displace, then if you care about your people, you wouldn't do that. And one of the things I'm glad that you brought forth so that I can make sure I get on record. You're a real estate attorney, and one of the things you should know, location, location, location. We over here in Ward 1, off of Anderson Road, for all people to know, we are the new Buckhead. So, yes, $1 million an acre is what your property is worth. So I'm so glad that you made them aware that any concerns that they had value in their property, they know now for you. So thank you. You have everybody knows if you want to sell $1 million plus, and there are comps to verify this. Ask Miss Farmer.
Okay, Pamela White.
Well, good evening, council and Mayor Pro Tem, Ms. McCoy. Okay. I'm here tonight to address a very serious matter regarding a statement made by Councilman Mumptahan at a previous meeting. During that meeting, Councilman Mumptahan made an insinuation involving Miss Alita Farmer and myself, suggesting that if Miss Farmer's family had received money for their property, she might not still be advocating for the community, and he connected my name to that statement. That comment implied that we were trying to profit or seek money from the city, which is completely false, misleading, and is defamatory. Neither Miss Farmer nor I have ever received any money, nor have we advocated for personal gain. Our advocacy has always been about preserving our historic community and standing for fairness and truth. When a public official makes such a statement in a public forum, it damages not only my personal and professional reputation, but also public confidence in the honesty of this government body. For the record, I want to make it clear that I had absolutely no involvement in any matter of financial exchange or negotiations related to any city project. Therefore, I am formally requesting that my name be redacted from any public record meeting minutes or video associated with those remarks. This serves as a formal notice that the statement made was defamatory and harmful, and I'm requesting that a public correction be issued to set the record straight. Going forward, I also respectfully ask that no council member use my name in any public discussion without my prior notice and an opportunity for me to respond. There has to be some changes on this council. You know, sitting and watching your colleagues just do what they want to do and nobody addresses them, it don't go to the higher end for there to be any type of transparency or anything. It has to stop somewhere. It's going to end up costing the city. It's going to cost the city because as they reach for power and grab for power and everybody remains silent, knowing that they are off on what they're doing, it don't make you any better than the one that's committing a trespass against people. Something has to change. And Anna, I want to say to you, I know how the race went, but let me tell you, You're overqualified. Go for mayor. Go for mayor.
All right, Milan Patel. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, Christy Chastain.
Good evening. Christy Chastain, 239 Berkeley Drive here in the city. As Ms. Warmoth commented after I came in, it's been a while since you guys have seen me here. Not because I haven't been watching the online meetings or anything like that. I just have a lot on my plate right now. But after reviewing the agenda items for the work session last week and watching the work session and some of the comments that were made, there's an item that's on the agenda tonight to vote on the council calendar for next year. And I was very disappointed to see that there is a proposal to go back to same-day meetings. I urge you, please don't do that. It is not in the best interest of this city. Those of us who cannot attend the work sessions or who may not be able to watch them during the day, a few hours before the meeting at night, still need to be able to have a right to give input, and putting them on the same day does not allow us to do that. Please, I urge you, don't go back to the way that was. Tuesday or Thursday during the day work just fine. You know, a week out or 5 days out. Please, please do not go back to the same day. Give us a chance to give our input after we've been able to review it. Thank you.
Josh Evans.
Man, it feels like I ain't been up here in forever. I know, right? Feels like I've been away for a while. Looking around and looking at this city, and going back 40 some odd years ago in this city, it's a crying shame at what this place has become. It is. It really is. It's sad. Hear people talking about, oh, it's a beautiful city, it's a great place, it's this, it's that. Should have been here 40 years ago. It was real great then. It's insane to me at what we have to pay out in this city. We pay taxes. We pay for the most horrible trash service in the world. You don't know if they're going to come. Who knows? If it ain't just parked just right out by the curb, or if it ain't turned right, they ain't going to pick it up. We pay the highest water and sewer bills around. For what? For us to get crappy infrastructure? I mean, come on now. Something's got to give with it. We can sit here and say the council needs to change, the mayors need to change. We can sit here and beat that dead horse in the head all day long. And that's what we'd be doing. We've done changed some seats. There's some seats up here that need to change, that's for sure. I'm probably looking at one of them. Yeah. Because you got the nastiest ward in this city, whether you know it or not. And that little stunt there with 285 and I-20 bridge, y'all should know, man, I wouldn't focus on that. I'd focus on my ward. I'd focus on cleaning it up.
You need to focus on your front yard.
Well, yeah, I got cars there. Every one of them crank up and run. So, I tell you what, send code enforcement by there. Yeah, I'll crank every one of them. Every one of them's got a tag and the insurance. I'll park 50 cars in my front yard, and ain't a thing y'all can do about it. You want to try it? Let's talk about that mayor and that fence over there. It's out of question too now. So I can put an 8-foot fence around mine because she's got one up at hers, right? So you want to go throwing rocks? We'll throw some rocks. I'll park 50 cars. I tell you what, send code enforcement by there about Thursday. Y'all go ahead and send them by there. I'll have 50 cars parked in the field and in my yard. I promise you, there'll be 50 parked there. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Don't bark back at the citizens that pay you. We put you there. You ain't got to be there. We can get you out there next term. That ain't a problem. Y'all need to focus on this sewer running out down the streets, all in these ditches. Why ain't that been fixed yet? We can talk about some stuff now. Yeah? I would be smiling. 'Cause it ain't funny. But I'm glad you mentioned that, though. I got you. It'll be 50 of them parked in the front yard. Come on by about Thursday. You'll see them.
Well, that is all I have on the list for public comment. We're going to move on to council updates. And I'm going to start, tonight I'm going to start on this side and go that way since, Matthew, you're by yourself tonight. So,
Okay. Well, I wasn't really planning on giving much council updates. I just want to say I'm not being antisocial over here by myself. I'm just feeling under the weather, and I don't want to get nobody else sick. Second of all, I want to say Happy Veterans Day to everyone. And thank you for any veterans in attendance or watching at home for their service to our country. But I guess since my name was brought up, you know, since I'm the star subject of the council of the public comment, I'll just raise a couple. I'll raise a couple questions. So we had one person get up in public comment tell us that she basically sacrificed herself for her community by offering to sell her property or an acre of her property for almost 3 or 4 times what the tax assessor's office has the entire property listed. So we're supposed to believe, now this is part of my training as a lawyer, is to essentially dissect inaccuracies or inconsistencies in what an alleged witness is telling me. So this person went out and they were so energized by their community and trying to save their community that instead of just offering that land to the city for what the fair market value is, they decided that they were going to say, you know what, we're going to offer this land for 3 times, 4 times the amount of money that the tax assessors even has it allocated for or assessed for. So this sacrificial lamb, she sacrificed her community, she sacrificed her land for the community, and it must not have done too well because the city has abandoned that proposal. So therefore, I guess she didn't do very well in sacrificing herself for her community. Now, then we have the other gentleman who got up and he wants to tell about how my ward is the nastiest ward in the city, okay? So this is the same person, by the way, I think it was in August, maybe it was July, maybe September, who told us that within 60 days, EPA or EPD was going to come and rain down the forces. Well, here we are sitting here in November, and nothing's happened. We're all still sitting here. No lawsuits have been filed. No threatening litigation letters. This person, I guess we'll call this person Henny Penny. This is we're updating the whole city about everything going on in the city. We're updating them. And I don't know if y'all know who Henny Penny is, but that person is more commonly known as Chicken Little. So, thank you. Turkey lurkey.
Anybody on this side have council updates? We got one.
No. So I have had some citizens ask about the Villa Rica bypass, and I just wanted to give a quick update publicly to just let everyone know that GDOT has said that the projected opening for that bypass is the end of this year. So just wanted to give a quick update on that.
Okay, I did want to mention that our longtime someone who was with our housing authority for a long time, Mr. Dick Chambers, has passed away, and I was not expecting that reaction, but good for him. And so our thoughts and prayers are with his family at this time. Anybody going once, going twice? All right, let's move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda is is basically a list of stuff that's talked about in the work session that doesn't require a whole lot of discussion, and is pretty just kind of going through the motions or very minimal discussion, and typically everyone agrees on it. So, I had a thing written here and I went off script. Each of these items were discussed at the work session and was the unanimous consensus of the council. So, do I have a motion? Proposed 2026 citywide holiday schedule. And number 2 was the support amendment with Introdyne for archiving.
I'll make a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
Second.
I'll second.
Oh, I thought
sorry.
I could second. All in favor? Anybody opposed?
That is unanimous.
If y'all hadn't noticed, I'm trying to move quickly. Maybe a little too quickly. But, okay, we're moving on to governing body. Number 1, the approval of the October 6th, 2025 work session and the October 14th, 2025 city council minutes. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
All in favor? I forgot to vote. All opposed?
That is unanimous.
Thank you. Okay, number 2, the 2026 city council meeting calendar.
Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes.
on this one, since we're going to have 2 new members of the council after the December 2nd election, I would make a motion that we table this to the December meeting before we do anything about the calendar for next year, so that we could get input from those new members.
I don't have a problem with that. I do have one comment to say about this, and it's something that I've had people tell me. I've had people tell me over the course of the last 4 years, and that people that are in my shoes who work outside the home, whether it be in Atlanta, whether it be in Carrollton, or whether it be in Alabama, they either have some kind of rule from their company that they cannot run for council seats, and they can't fit it in their schedule. I am a prime example of not being able to fit it in my schedule. So, with that being said, I do not mind tabling this, but I would hope the council and the people coming on would understand that while this is for the people, and I am not diminishing the people, that there is a lot more staff, and there are that can handle this, that make it convenient for them. And we have a very big staff to do this, and we can't make everyone happy. We can't do it for everybody's schedule. We can do the best we can and move as forward as quickly as we can. And if we do a 2-day schedule, people are going to have conflicts. The work session was in with an election. Today is Veterans Day, and our people came in tonight to do this meeting because they were supposed to be off. It breeds more flexibility than you think when it's on one day. It is easy to maneuver to another day or week or time because someone might have a conflict due to their kids' schedule when they're out of school, or due to what they have going on at work, or due to what they have going on with their family. And so while I understand where the people are coming from and they don't want to go back to this schedule, last year when we did this, I was all for this schedule. I thought it was great, but it is very, very kind of cumbersome to have to do that 2 weeks when you can do it in one day. So I do not mind that. I'm okay with it, but I just wanted to get my 2 cents in before. So
I can understand that, and I can understand someone working would only want to spend one day here, but we are up here representing the people of the city of Little Rica, and I think we need to allow for input with the work sessions when we discuss everything there is to know about our meeting. And if people have input, if they only have an hour to give it to us, we're not going to get it. if they have a few days to give it to us, then we'll get some input, and that's the way it's been working for me. But I still have a motion to table this to the December meeting, because I think the 2 new council members should have some input into that.
Ms. Wormuth?
Yeah, I'm not against tabling this either, to have input from the 2 open seats that will come in January. I would like to just add, though, that while I've had people who have been against doing, or who would prefer to have 2 dates, I've had just as many reach out about having just the 1 day. So this is one of those things where it doesn't matter what we do. We're going to have people who are upset, people who are glad that we did it this way, or vice versa. So this is why this item was brought into the workshop. Sorry. This is why this was brought into the workshop, because council and mayor and staff were all able to have an open conversation about how this worked, which we preferred, and discussing all of the pros and cons with this. So again, that's why it was brought to that. I forget what I was just about to say. So, Anna, you had mentioned about, oh gosh, look, my mind just completely, I just completely lost it. That's what it was. I was all for splitting this into 2 dates. Sorry, guys. I was all for splitting this into 2 dates when this was first brought to council, and I'm with Anna. It's been a challenge. What I did suggest was possibly bumping back the time to 10 o'clock and then have the council meeting at 6. Again, it was just a discussion item. It was not something that anything was decided on. So I just know that, and I'll stop talking, but I just wanted to say that regardless of what we do, someone's going to be upset with this, and we just have to make a decision about what's best for us as a body, and for the city and as a whole.
Either way, it's just whatever the majority is going to do. I'm flexible. I don't have a preference of either one of them. Yeah. But that's just me.
You wouldn't mind tabling it so the other 2 members, new members, will get a say so in it? Can you second my motion to table it to the December meeting?
They're going to have to be part of it. So
do you have a motion to table to December?
Yeah.
Do you have a second?
I want to just add on, again, I don't mind tabling it either, but, you know, I wanted to push this on 2 days originally because I was hoping that the newspaper would pick it up, the local newspaper would pick up the work session stuff and then put it in their Thursday paper, so that way people would have it in the newspaper, then you would go to the Tuesday following council members. But apparently my understanding of what the newspaper's deadline was all off, and we've had some emails back and forth with the newspaper on trying to help get them on board, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So, you know, I don't really have a preference one way or the other. I've, you know, been on this thing long enough. I can figure out my schedule and accommodate whatever the council desires. And you know, like you, Stephanie, I've heard both. I've got feedback both ways on this or that. So, you know, but I don't mind tabling this, and then you know, the new council members that are to be sworn in January can give us some feedback if they have preferences. Thank you.
Was that a second?
Oh,
Was
yeah,
that-
I'll second. Fine.
Okay, all in favor?
That is unanimous.
I was going to say, y'all are really sending me out in style tonight. Okay. And A3, the election update, Teresa?
Since there's only Me, if it's okay, I'm going to just stay here and not
Yeah.
go to the podium. Teresa Campbell, City Clerk. We had on November 4th the election, and we will be going into a runoff in 2 of our wards. So in Ward 3, Stephanie Warmoth will remain as the council person. In Ward 4, we will have a runoff between Tyler Barr and Greg Roberts. In Ward 5, there will be a runoff between Dominique Conte and Luz Morales. No one in either of those races reached the 50+1 threshold. We are lucky this time that Douglas and Carroll counties have worked together, and so early voting for both Douglas County and Carroll County residents will be at Powell Park, and that will be from November the 24th through November the 26th, 8:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. It will not be on Thursday and Friday because that is the week of Thanksgiving. And then on December the 2nd, you will vote at your designated precinct, which is on your registration card. Or if you need to look at it, you can go to the Secretary of State Georgia My Voter page and put in your birth date and your last name, and it will pull up and it will tell you where your precinct is.
I was just going to say, in light of our discussion about the wards or not about the wards, about the schedule and everything, is that we only had about 10% of registered voters go out overall. And I did not do the math, and you know me, I like to do the math. So give me a couple of percentage points, please, before y'all go after me. But when we're having such a small turnout for elections, I wonder how many people are paying that close of attention. So I would take this to say, go out and vote in these runoff elections. And I would say that to also maybe be more mindful of our meetings and what we have on our agenda in the future. That's the election update. Okay, we're going to B, that got canceled. We're going to C1. This is a variance request by Milan Patel for a reduction in the minimum masonry requirement on building facades and a reduction on the minimum lot size. And this has a public hearing.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, city managers, and the residents of Villa Rica. Before you, we have, my name is Brecca Carter. I'm the interim director for community development. Good evening. We have a variance request ahead of us to reduce the brick requirement for a package store. A little bit of background around some of the requirements regarding our liquor stores. In early part of this year, the city council approved for 4 locations for liquor stores throughout the city. This is one of them. Several of the others are going through the development process with the Development Services Department, and we are working with them on ensuring that they meet the requirement. This particular location, however, is an existing strip center located at 113 Commons Way. It's not clicking. Oh, thank you. So, yes, so the specific variance request is from section 4-401 to reduce the requirement to have brick on all 4 sides. The code requires for any new build or existing liquor store to have that requirement. The applicant has requested to install a faux brick, which is not the actual brick, but a faux type of brick, and to allow the existing stucco fascia along the sides and rear, and then to let the stone water table remain. So the following photos will give you an idea of what that currently looks like. Thank you, Teresa. So as you can see the stucco facade, the fascia on the front of the building, the newly constructed entrance, and the stone water table at the bottom. That was part of the original design of the building. Thank you. So initially when this application came before us, we noticed that there was a discrepancy in the information on the tax assessor's website versus the plat that we received from the applicant. So they do not need a lot size variance. On to the next. And I talked a little bit about the history, about the presumptive alcohol license. This is one of 4. And that they do currently have a building permit underway. They did have a stop work order issued because they were building outside of what was approved by the Business Development Services Office. And this is what was initially proposed with this application, where you have a larger fascia in the front with some windows, and it'll be masonry. And this shows the elevation without windows. So there's been some changes in the design from the development team. And this is currently what it looks like now along the front facade. We have a lot of pictures, folks. Bear with us. And then here shows you the elevation for each of the sides on the left rear to the right rear, the left side from the front angle, and then the right side from the front angle. Okay, based on the variance criteria, we had 3 criteria points that we had to meet in order to approve or recommend denial of this request. General welfare regarding the facade variance does undermine the existing design standards, which is 4-size brick. The type of faux brick, Nishiha, is a faux brick, so it's not going to have that masonry texture, but it'll have the masonry visual. The practical difficulty, there's no there's no hardship that staff could find. This was a decision by the applicant to request to not meet the full brick requirement. And as a result, we have recommended denial. At the next slide, thank you. Again, the expense was cited as an issue for the applicant, which is why they didn't enforce the brick, and we did not see a hardship, which keeps us as staff being able to recommend approval. So the recommendation is for denial. As staff, we always like to make sure that the city council has options. We want to ensure that as staff, we provide you with any conditions should you choose to approve or overturn the decision by staff and approve the applicant's request. And we've noted those here. Of course, they have to meet all building, fire, life safety requirements. All the other architectural treatments based on the code have to be met, and which would allow for the water table to remain. The parking lot will need to be restriped in accordance with the code requirements, and then the final facade based on the code allows for design reviews to come back to community development. And that is all I have for you all tonight.
Any questions? Any questions for staff? Mr. Montan.
Ms. Carter,
Yes, sir.
the stone water table, is it a real stone, or is it kind of a facade as well?
It's a real stone.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Any questions for staff?
Well, I had one. The changes that was made that was not in the plan, was that brought before you all before they changed it to what they wanted other than what was supposed to be done?
Not initially. The applicant started working on the demolition on the interior of the space because there were at least 8 or 9 spaces for other uses within the building, but they had to go in and kick down those walls and re-retrofit it and make sure it was fortified for structural purposes. But throughout the process, they've had some changes to the facade and what they wanted to do. So we did meet with them, as we do with any new developer that comes in and does major renovation or a new development altogether, to walk them through the process. And this is what we found was a requirement, and the applicant is going through the specified process to request a variance.
So some of it was already done before.
Correct.
That was not the way it's supposed to have been.
Correct. They did receive a stop work order, but that has since been lifted as they've been working with the development staff on getting back on track. But everything is temporarily on hold with the outcome of this meeting.
Anybody else? Okay, can the applicant please come up to speak?
So the applicant, I think, has some updates or some things they'd like to pass out to you all.
This is the Nietzsche top. I'm glad to walk with it so y'all can see it or pass it down.
Good evening, council. This is Milan, the owner, and that's my GC. So,
hello, council. Thank you for hearing us tonight. So the variance is, as Brecca said, that we're asking for the existing stucco that is, all of the surrounding buildings have the stucco just like that. So we're asking to be able to keep that stucco because changing that is definitely going to change the appearance of the building and not make it fit into the rest of things there. Water table, we're definitely asking to keep the water table on the bottom. All of the existing buildings around have the same water table. So that's the variance from brick. Now for the facade wall, there was some, when we started construction on the facade wall, we ran into some problems with the structure. We do have a structural engineer that is coming on site this week to do an evaluation of the structure to make sure that as we go forward, the structure is going to be sound. But as we were constructing it, this wall, we could not keep those windows in the top and create the tie-in that we needed for this wall. We had to move this wall back a little bit so it was along with the foundation structure of the building. So yeah, we moved and done some things, but we had already opened up the front of the building and we kind of had to close it up some way. So there was definitely some confusion, and we definitely should have consulted before making those changes. But what we're asking for going forward is keeping it just like what you see. The design that you see is what we want to put out, and I think it's a good design for the city. The advantage of that Nichiha is that we can look like brick and give all the elements of the building, but then we can also do that wood look across the top. Nichiha is not at our advantage in cost. Brick is definitely at our advantage in cost. But we're just trying to do something that for the focal point entrance of the building, it just draws attention. So that's kind of why we settled on Nichiha. Are we able to do brick? Absolutely. We just want it to look good. Do y'all have any questions? Oh yeah. Well, also Nichiha is a name. Nobody really knows that name. When I first heard it, I was like, Nietzsche what? But Chick-fil-A, the white brick on Chick-fil-A is all Nichiha. So, and many other structures in Billerica are using the same thing. It's very common in commercial construction.
Mr. Carter.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm looking at your diagram here, your picture.
Yes, sir.
I'm seeing a doorway to extreme left. I know that the ordinance had one entrance, one exit. So, is that the entrance?
No, the entrance is on the sides of the facade that's structured.
The ordinance is very specific about the entrance and exit. So, what is that doorway to the left?
The doorway to the left?
Yeah, extreme left. I see a doorway.
That's entrance to the storage, and because of life safety codes, that door can't be removed. We can change that door, but it couldn't be removed for life safety codes. There's not enough egress distance if we take that door out.
just to
go ahead.
Just to add it, basically the last door on the left side, that's the office. Then the one next to it, that's the back room, inventory room. And then the right to it, it's basically the whole floor space. It used to be 8 units, so we did 6 on the floor space, 1 for the back room, and the last one being the office.
Okay, I'm looking at your diagram here, your picture. And I'm seeing a doorway to the extreme left. I know that the ordinance had one entrance, one exit. So, is that the entrance? So this doesn't go with the ordinance we put out. It has an extra
One-
store in it. I mean, has an office area in it.
No. When I say office, for office for the store. Yeah,
yeah.
like that's how we present it. It's going to be office for the store, not an office unit. It's part of the
But
office.
it's an entrance to the store, though.
Yeah, like a meeting room for a liquor store.
But you could get into the liquor store through this door.
Yes. So we're gonna make entrance through it, but due to the code, we cannot remove the door. We can move the doors, of course, for sure, but they won't let us remove the doors. But the second last one is the inventory room.
I do have one question for y'all.
Okay.
If brick is cheaper and brick is in the code, why don't y'all just use brick?
We just want it, we just want it to look newer and present very well. Being the first liquor store in Villa Rica, we got a bar to set.
Okay. But again, why don't y'all just, brick's in the code, brick is cheaper, that's the ordinance.
No. Brick is not. It's not cheaper.
Okay, well, that's what.
I mean,
I don't know if he said it, but no. Brick
That's what I heard when you talked.
We're not talking about thousands of dollars cheaper, but Nichiha, after the labor install, they are very comparable in price, but we could get brick done cheaper than the Nichiha. One, the installers are hard to find.
Yes, for Nichiha.
Miss Wormuth.
I'm a little confused by what you guys are saying. So in one breath you're saying that brick is cheaper, and then in another breath you're saying that brick is not cheaper, that it's more expensive. So you're gonna have to
Keep it to the same brick and Nichiha. The cost wise, there's not much difference. You can lay them the same. You cannot find, of course, the production people for the installer for Nichiha. It's not easy to get it. But Nichiha, and just I'll say, so we have seen in the last 3 years or 4 years that there has been so many new liquor stores open because of the ordinance changed by the state. Now all the newer ones, I don't know if you have seen it, anything around 50 miles or probably 80 miles. I'll give you an example. Fayetteville has one. Peachtree City just has opened. I'll probably say the name too. Cadron, Waldo Beverage. Other one being Sunny's Liquor Emporium. So these are all the newer ones who has just literally been built past 2 years, and Nietzsche has just been part of them too. I mean, if you even Google their location, we can show them, Ted. Okay, good.
So was that an answer of?
So Nichiha is a material that you can change materials pretty easily as you go up. The focal point that is in the picture in front of you guys, we want to use the wood grain at the very top where the sign is to just make it an architectural feature. Nichiha just allows us to go up that wall looking just like brick and then change over to that wood grain at a certain level. It's just an easier product to work with than brick is. About the same cost, but it's a little easier to work with changing material.
Okay, I would be curious as to what staff's input is on that. Just like what you all just said, you have a bar that's very high to set with being the first liquor store in Villa Rica. Well, we also have a high bar that we have to set. And if we start making exceptions where staff does not feel that this, and I will absolutely rely on staff with this because they're helping us set that bar. So I would like to refer to them on answering those questions. But I guess what you're saying is that this is just easier to work with than with brick. And that's the reason for.
To make that change at the top, you see where the sign is, where the VR liquor sign is, it's an easier transition to that using the Nichiha because it all stacks on top of each other. Whereas brick, we would go up with brick, it's 4 inches out, then we would, if you granted the variance, we would switch to that other. It would be set back. It's just an easier product to work with. It still looks great, still looks like brick. Still acts like brick. It's a masonry product. It just gives us the ability to make an architectural feature that just stands out. That building sits back from the street a bit. So we're trying to make it where it just stands out to the public. Again, not much cost difference between the two. It's just easier to work with and easier to transition.
Okay, Mr. Montan.
Okay. So, according to the planning report, okay, let me just reset here. So in order for this council to give you a variance, you have to establish that there's a hardship, okay? And so far, the testimony that we've heard is that you've described this as an inconvenience, not a hardship. You've essentially told us that brick and Nietzsche are going to essentially cost you the same. The planning report states that your alleged hardship is the cost, and you've just basically dismissed that entire claim. So right now, I'm having a hard time finding a way to grant you a hardship on this.
I
on
believe
a
there's been
variance.
miscommunication in that. We never asked for a hardship based off cost.
Well, that's what the standard is for a variance, though, is that you have to have a hardship. So what is your alleged hardship then?
Well, one, we don't, if we remove the stucco, then we're taking away from the structure of the building. That is a hardship. We
Right.
will have to rebuild
So
the
the
fascia.
concern with the stucco, though, is that when your owner purchased the property, they were aware of what the requirements were. So they bought a building of being aware of what the requirements of the ordinance were. So they bought a building with stucco on it. So they should have known going into this that stucco was not going to satisfy the ordinance. So that's not a hardship. That's, making a decision and accepting the cost of your decisions. So what's your other hardship?
So we didn't come here because of a hardship. We come for a variance,
Well,
simple
the s-
variance.
and
I
the
didn't
standard-
understand that the
right.
variance is
Okay.
for a hardship. We're not asking for hardship variance.
Then if
We're
there's
asking
no-
to build something that's gonna look really good.
Understood.
And we wanna work with you and make something that's a great product for the city.
Unfortunately, though, that's not the standard for a variance. You have to establish hardship. Okay? And so the other issue I have personally, I can't speak for the rest of the council, is that there's only 4 liquor stores going to be in Villa Rica. And if we give y'all a variance, that means we're going to start giving every other one a variance. And that defeats the entire purpose of our ordinance. Okay?
Understood.
And so I understand that you guys have it's a good-looking building, no doubt, but that's not what the ordinance required. And so, again, like I said, your owner purchased this property with the understanding of what the ordinance was. There's only 4 applications. He was the presumptive nominee, so I'm hard-pressed, to, at least from my perspective, to grant this variance.
If we continue on and we remove the stucco, the building is not gonna represent well with everything else around it with stucco on as the fascia. So, if y'all want it to look like that, then we can build and construct whatever. We can definitely work around anything. We're just asking for it to look better and to, in some ways, yes, make it easier on us. So that is the hardship request.
In my view, at the end of the day, the stucco can't stay, because especially the stucco. I personally might be able to give you a little bit on the stacked stone, just because it's existing and it's a full stone and not just a veneer or a fascia. But I don't see letting go on the brick from my perspective, at least. Thank you.
You do understand that on a fascia, there's no way to put brick. You do understand that, correct?
Well,
The
no,
fascia
I'm
is
not a
not
contractor.
structural.
Right.
A fascia is not structural. There's
So-
the building roof, a fascia is not structural. So if you put brick on that roof cannot support it.
So
So
that
we
sounds-
have to
so
tear
that-
the fascia off. The fascia serves as where the gutters are.
Right.
And is part of the structure of the building.
So that sounds like a hardship.
That's
And
a
so
definite
At this
hardship.
point in time, then I would defer to our staff to essentially corroborate what your comments are. Because if that's the case, then maybe there's an opening there for a hardship.
I believe there's a lot of miscommunication, it sounds.
Okay.
So let's bring staff back up.
No, I can't corroborate their statements. That hasn't been the conversations thus far, or when the application was submitted. I guess the question earlier was about other locations using this type of material. I can't substantiate that. But again, all 4 of the presumptive licensees for the liquor stores were required and knew at the time that they were selected that their buildings had to be 4 size brick. And the code truly did not build in any wiggle room for that, if you will. And that's what staff's recommendation is based upon.
Ms. Warmoth.
So, have you, and this is for the applicant, Have you all changed what was approved originally? Have you all swayed from that?
And you're saying approved originally on the plans?
Yes.
The windows and the wall. Again, it's a structural issue. The high windows couldn't be there.
Well, the photo that's shown on here is without windows at all.
And again, the structure of the building was already open. We had to construct something to close it in. We can add windows anywhere at any time.
But
We
you
do
all
not want to put them up high because it'll be looking into the roof. There's no open foyer design that we can do with the structure of the building.
But you all had changed from what the original plan was, and did you request for that change before the change was done? Obviously, there was a stop work order.
We have not called any inspections in, and yes, so.
That's not what I'm asking.
No, we were regrouping, and then we were caught with a stop work order while we were regrouping with the structural problem.
Okay, the miscommunication, like, you're here to present your case before us right now, and there's a lot of very confusing and conflicting information that you yourself are saying right now.
What have I said conflicting? Please?
Whoa. Okay, well, what's conflicting right now is, one, the hardship, and it states in here that the hardship is cost, and we've already established that cost is not the hardship. So we've already established that. And again, you all purchased this building knowing exactly what the ordinance was. That bar is set high for a reason. We have 4 liquor stores that are already approved. That bar is set high, and if
Understood.
we start swaying from that now, then we're in a world of hurt. I find it a little bit offensive that you're accusing staff of miscommunication when the miscommunication is coming from you directly right now, sir. I'm trying to understand what it is that you're requesting and why you are requesting it, and I'm welcomed with, well, what have I said that's conflicting? It has been conflicting.
Okay, all I was saying is I'm not trying to be offensive to you, but please help me understand how I was miscommunicating, please. Because I'm not a good communicator. I never claimed to be.
Okay, that's fair.
I hate speaking in public. My heart's pounding
Understood.
right now. So.
Understood, and that's fair.
So, and-
but again, I'm just trying to understand what it is that you are requesting, why you are requesting it. Again, if the roof cannot handle the brick, then yes, that
That's a
would be
hardship.
considered a hardship. But when we're talking about and hang on, this structure is a little bit different from the other structures because the structure already exists. But with that said,
Right.
when you purchased the building, you knew that
Right.
this was what the ordinance was.
Right.
So,
Understood.
so that's where I'm trying to understand where it is that you're coming from and what it is that you're requesting and why you're requesting it.
Okay, now I'm a little more understanding of that. Hardship is definitely for removing the stone table and removing the stucco. It's not a hardship for the Nichiha. Yeah. We can go with that. That's more of a preference, design, not a hardship.
So it almost sounds like you guys need to go back and work with staff and figure out a solution to this with using the brick. And then, of course, leaving the stucco, if the stucco is a structural issue.
Yeah.
But it sounds like, because what you just handed us
Yeah.
is very different from what's in our agenda.
Right.
So, we're being asked to give you a variance tonight based on this, not on this. And I can't make a decision on this tonight because it sounds to me like this needs to go back to staff and figure out a solution that you can present to council.
Okay.
Is that fair?
That's fair, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be offended.
No.
I was just trying to understand how
I understand. You're
I
good.
am a little nervous, so.
No, I was just pointing out, I was looking at the letter here that was submitted as part of the application, and, it says in it, the existing building was not originally constructed to support a brick facade, and applying brick at this stage would likely require additional foundation and structural work to accommodate the added weight. This would create unnecessary expense and potential construction complications without adding significant architectural value. So it sounds to me like the concern is the expense. I don't know what you mean by construction complications necessarily. It's my understanding, though, and staff can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think part of the issue with the stop work order was that this thing was built without an inspection of the footings.
Yeah.
Is that right? This kind of entranceway was.
There is additional cost if we do brick on that facade. There is additional cost of footers and all of that we'd have to do for the brick. That is
Right.
additional cost.
And I think, and my understanding was that you guys got those installed and you didn't get an inspection on those, or you modified the plan in some way, from what I understand.
We've worked with Tracy on that, and we will get that resolved.
We did
Okay.
exploratory
So,
drilling.
so just so I'm clear, though, if we go back and add brick now to that segment, is that because you guys didn't do that in advance to work with Tracy and them on that? And now we're having to go back and you're going to redo the footings because, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of
We will
like,
have to redo the footings if we do brick.
this is where we get into self-imposed problems, right? And that's not what we're here to alleviate your self-imposed problems. We're here to alleviate hardships that you're out of your control.
And we, on our side of it in the ordinance, we did misunderstand the ordinance there was a section under where it talks about liquor stores, it talks about facades. We had a misunderstanding with them. Sorry. We did meet with staff. We got that understanding. So we now understand that we've got to work through that with the Tracy side of this and get that corrected.
Okay.
Definitely the stucco, there is no structure there to support brick, so that would be a hardship on Milan to have to rebuild all of that, or remove it and do something different. Same with the stone. In the picture we show you, again, we did meet with staff, and we redid the picture after that meeting so that we were presenting more of something that you guys could understand and accept even. So we want to do the stone table around the new facade, just like the building is, just like multiple buildings around there are. The bank right in front of it's done the same way, has a stucco band just like this building, has the stone band just like this building. So we want to keep those to prevent Milan from having that hardship. The Nichiha is just an alternative to brick, but if we do have to go with brick, there is footers that have to be added to this building to support that. So the way you're talking, that would be a hardship to Milan, but it was shown on the original drawings. The windows, again, once we started tearing into that, we can't put the windows up high structurally. The trusses that are up there are not great to begin with. We don't want to add other problems. But we can put the windows down below, and you see that in that picture. So we're no problem with windows, it's just we can't do the ones up top. When we built that structure, we just found that out. We hadn't had a chance to even go back to staff with a different drawing, really, to show that. We're glad to do that. We don't want to do things wrong. We're just trying to get it done. And again, the Nichiha is a different product. It looks like brick. It acts like brick. It talks like brick. It's very similar. You wouldn't know it from the street unless you were a contractor. That's our ask there, is basically two variances. Leave the stucco and stone, and then the Nichiha. But we understand that's not as much of a hardship on the Nichiha.
Is there staff?
Ms. Warmoth.
Sorry. Is there staff that can assist with this? Have you guys seen this printout that the applicant shared with us?
Let's bring staff back up because I have a feeling the questions are going to be more for staff right now. Y'all don't go far.
And can I say, we had architectural problems. The architect in the beginning was a total nightmare. We had to rehire the RAD group in Villa Rica to help us with the design and fixing some of these things because we couldn't go back to the original architect. It was a nightmare. So
Oh, yeah.
Tracy Jarvis, Building Development. Can I step up there and just point out some things on that picture?
Yes, Teresa, can you give him the mic?
So if you're looking at this facade right here, what he's talking about right here about this stucco is correct. So this is basically a porch that sits out here.
Right.
You would almost treat that as a super wide imposed fascia cornice or beam system here that you do not put brick on. There's really no way to support that. That's correct on that. Now this can all be bricked. They're going to have to add a footing in there, but that they knew that, you know, as far as the ordinance from the beginning, that this was supposed to be four-sided brick, and I believe they would meet the intent of that code, leaving that stucco up there because it is not what you call a building wall facade. It is part of the soffit structure, and they make them wide on these commercial buildings where they can put signage and whatnot on. But there's really no way to, unless you just tear off the porch and go back with a little 1x8 fascia board, which would be crazy, and then you might as well just tear the whole building down at that point. But this is the first time I've seen this drawing. To me, brick is brick, right? No Nichiwa. We knew all this from the beginning that the requirements were four-sided brick. I do not count that stucco as part of that side. Like I said, it's soft. So whether, you know, in my opinion, I mean, this is a good-looking facade right here.
But is this
It is.
is this the first time that staff is seeing this?
That's for
Yeah, we.
Okay. Understood. But here's the deal. At least for me, I can say no to all of these variances today, or you can go back and work with staff and then bring it back to council. Because I feel like there's a lot of things that you all need to work out with staff, because this is not what's in here. And I want to make sure that when we're approving something, it's documented appropriately so that, no offense, you guys aren't going to sway from what is approved. So
I can see it was premature for us to come in without talking with them with that. We just received it today, and we're trying to throw things together. And
well, and we want to work with you.
Yeah, we want to work with you. We want to do it exactly by the ordinances, by every code.
But and we are wanting to work with you, and I know that there are a lot of people who are excited about Villarica's first liquor store. So, but we can't rush it. It has to be done right. And for me, I would like to recommend that you go back to staff, to the drawing board, before anything's approved tonight or denied tonight.
Thank you for that. We'll regroup, and y'all just forget that we were here.
Mr. Montahan.
My question is actually for David. It sounds like we're going to table this until December, but this does require a public hearing. Should we do the public hearing?
I think you probably ought to give an opportunity for anybody that showed up to speak about this to speak tonight.
Okay.
And just real quick, denial versus tabling is better for the applicant, correct? Or does it matter?
Tabling is better than denying.
That's what I thought.
Well, we're denying the various requests. That's the difference. They can come back with different various requests. We just would be denying these particular ones. Is that true? There's two variance requests on here.
There's no time limitation between bringing the different variants back, so they could be asking you for a variance every single month.
Yeah, so we don't, that's what's before us is a variance request.
Ms. Carter.
The only variance, the only thing that we can tell from now that they are unable to meet per the code is the brick requirement, the all size brick. There are several other requirements as well for the project as well, and for all liquor stores. So tabling it would again allow for there to be conversation, but the request is on the table of whether you're allowing them or you would allow them to deviate from the 4-size brick requirement, because there'd have to be a variance at some point if the stucco is not going to be brick or any part of it is not going to be 100% brick.
I have a question about that as I'm looking at this. And I have to put my glasses on because I can't see. So as I'm looking at this one of like left rear or left of front, I think, and right up front, it's basically the walls on the side on the presentation. And I'm sorry, I'm throwing my 2 cents in.
Next one. Keep going forward.
Yeah, right there. Okay, so as I'm looking at that left to front, and it looks like that side is brick and the opposings. I guess my question, to make it simple, is besides that thing that looks like a porch, where is there not brick on a side?
All of the stone. Because the code says all brick. Now, stone is a masonry product, but because the code is so stringent regarding these types of developments, the variance covers that as well. It covers the brick portion throughout on each of the sides of the building and the stucco portion.
Okay, so when we're talking about the 4 sides, we're talking about the stone, not stucco.
We're talking about both.
Okay, where is stucco on the 4 sides?
Stucco is where you see that lighter colored portion towards the
Right.
top.
This is my question. Why is that considered a side?
It's a facade. Anything regarding the facade or side of the building, that is considered building materials. So yes, it would include that.
Even though the building is, except for the stone,
It's talking about all building materials. So the stucco, the brick, the stone, all together. And staff doesn't have any provision in the ordinance to issue an approval for this. Only the council can do that.
Can I say one?
Yes.
Don't know how to, but you see here where they've got brick going all the way up, and then they've basically got a porch beam here that's massive. I know. This is not facade. This is not what you'd consider a facade material. You're almost considering this like your 1x8 that's behind your gutters, and you got your cornice, your soffit under that, and you got a trim board. You know, you got to kill out somewhere with this. Just like this trim board that you got up here, it'll never be brick. It can't be brick. This can't be brick. This would meet, in my opinion, as a builder, if the stone wasn't there, and then they bricked the new part and got rid of the stone, this would not need a variance because it's basically a porch. Yes. This part would not need a variance because there's no way to brick that. You won't see it on any porches anywhere. It's just a wide-faced beam, basically, is what it is. So if they took the stone out and bricked this, then they wouldn't even need a variance, except they'd have to come in and resubmit because they've changed their plans. That would have to be approved. But if they're going to keep this stone in, even though it's masonry, they would need a variance for that part of it because it's not all brick. But you just kind of got to take this out of the thinking. Anyway, that's the way I do it. Building for a long time. Too long.
And can the applicant come up? And I apologize, I'm asking so many questions, but I've been sitting here for 4 years and I'm about to go out, and I just want to say what I've always wanted to say. What is the point? Why this facade? Why? Why is it structural? Is it because you sat here and said it's not cost, it's not a hardship? Is it structural? Why do you not want to use brick? That's all I'm asking. And now that Tracy has explained it, why the stone too? Why not? Can you give us one good reason why not?
So I'll address two separate things. The stone first. Speaking of hardships, if we took that stone out, all of that brick above that is sitting on that stone.
Oh, okay.
So if I take that stone out, I'm taking every brick off the side of that building. It is absolutely a hardship. And it matches every building around there, just about. So we absolutely ask for a variance to leave that alone because it's a masonry. It looks good. It's a masonry product, just like brick is. The facade is, it could be brick. Certainly the hardship of tearing out the sidewalks and tearing out the old foundation would be a cost to Milan that was not planned necessarily. We could avoid that with Nichiha. We wanted to do it that way. He wanted to do it that way because it just makes it an architectural feature that's a little different and brings your attention to it. So that's really the reason, is it just becomes an architectural feature of the top of that being a different material to make the sign stand out.
Okay.
And that's really it.
I just want to add in one more thing. So when you ask that why a facade, so if you see there's an identical strip center just across at 125 Commons Way, because they were both built by the same at the same time, same construction, and being a strip mall right there, it has a separate unit entrance just like the other one. So there is no, like, if you stand at front, you wouldn't know where the entrance would be, like, because there were so many doors. We actually covered already 5 of them, but it still looks like, there was a door because of the way it is. So when you stand, you can't tell. So I would make something in the center so you can at least say, hey, this is the in and this is the out.
And that's fine. There was just a lot of stuff going around and hearing.
To be honest, actually, if I wouldn't have done facade, I'm pretty sure I would have at least saved 100,000, at least. And I could do it without facade too, like as you said, just keep it as is and create a door.
Yeah, because y'all weren't making a case for yourself. They're hard to find and install.
No.
It's more expensive.
That part, again, the Nichia is just a personal preference, and again, as he said, it would be easier. But the more on the stucco and watering stone, yes, 100%.
Okay,
yes,
and now we're going to the public hearing.
Just real quick, I do think very highly of Michael Rickman, Rad, and his work. And again, this is why I would prefer that we table this and allow them to come back with just some more clear of what you're requesting.
Mr. Carter.
Okay. What I'm seeing up here is an all-brick building. Are you removing the brick and putting this white material on? Or what, are you putting this on the outside of the brick? What's going on there?
No, that's just a color. He just added the color that could be the color later on, like if we
So
paint the
you
building.
didn't, that's all brick and you're not.
Yeah, the brick is gonna stay as is. The watering stone is staying as is. That's just a paint job that we will do after once everything.
With the stuff that you've added in the middle, that white there, doesn't look like, is that gonna be brick? Because that means you wouldn't have all brick.
No, that's all new construction to the building
That's
to
what I thought.
create the entrance to the liquor store. And again, an architectural feature on the building to draw
So
attention.
that's what makes it a not all brick building, because you've added something that's not brick.
Well, it can be brick, or again, if you guys see it, we could use that is brick looking as well.
A lot of effort went into the ordinance, and we're only gonna have 4 of these liquor stores, so
Right.
you can understand why we would hate to deviate after all the time and effort we put into creating this thing.
We do.
So just, of course, even if we do a brick facade, which, as you said, the footing and it'll increase the cost and everything, we'll still need a variance due to, as Tracy said, the fascia is okay, but the watering stone is still.
Yeah, you're still.
It's not. We'll still need a variance.
You need a variance for the stone, I can
Yes,
understand
yes,
that
yes,
part.
yes.
And
So
stone-
Nichia is just the second part of it. Yes.
Stone and brick, that's pretty close to the same thing. It might be doable for that, but you've created something here that doesn't have brick, and that's a problem.
Okay. Is there anyone who would like to speak for or against this that may have shown up tonight since there was a public hearing? Anybody want to speak for? Anybody want to speak against? Chief?
I don't want to speak for or against, but I do want to give you guys some concerns that I have. So, as far as the liquor store, that's real world. I know we're gonna have a liquor store. That's not what I'm concerned about. What I'm concerned about is the exit. coming down on to South Carroll because traffic doesn't get out there already. So my concern, and I've talked to Jennifer and them about this, and they're kind of on board with understanding that, is if we do this, which I think we're going to do this, can we make that a no left turn? And is there a way, Tracy and Hal, and as far as making it to where people can't turn in left too? Because you're talking about a traffic nightmare, because you have buses that unload there too, right there at the apartment complex, and they're there 10 or 15 minutes unloading because there's probably 40, 50 kids there. So just a concern, just for you guys to be aware of, that is definitely something we need to consider before this place opens.
There was a consideration in the past, while I've been on the council, to make that a four-way stop. That would make the traffic flow better.
I mean, that's definitely an engineer question.
Right.
A transportation engineer, not me, but I mean, we're definitely gonna need something.
I agree,
You know.
that or a light. Or
We don't have any roundabout, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Okay, last chance, for or against, anyone? Okay, I'm gonna take that as a no. So we all have our assignments. Y'all are gonna work with staff, and we're gonna get this figured out, and so do I have a motion to table?
Yeah, let me make a motion to table this to December. Is 1 month long enough for the staff? Is 1 month okay? Can you get it done by December?
Because it's tabled, if you're tabling it to a date specific, it'd be to the next.
Okay.
The next council meeting is in December. I'm sorry?
I said if you table it to a date specific, which is the next council meeting, we do not have to advertise it. But that does give us time, or I've never had to advertise it if it's already on the agenda, and then we'll put it back on the agenda for that date. Then it will still go through the full public hearing process since no decision has been made.
I don't think you're gonna be able to get it done by the December meeting.
Okay. How about the January 2026 meeting?
That's up to them.
We can certainly give it staff and make it happen on our end.
By the next meeting, we'll have the architectural, everything together and a good plan before.
We can table it to the December meeting, and then if they come back to us and they're not ready, we can table it again.
Yeah, we could table it again, or,
So let me make a motion to table it to the December meeting.
What about with advertising? I know that Brecca had mentioned that it didn't have to be.
No, it does not.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm with legal.
Absolutely.
Okay, I still have the motion to table it to the December
do I have a second?
council meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor? Any opposed?
That's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Next is the interim city manager. The ratify the memorandum of agreement with U.S. Army Corps of Engineers,
Yes, I'm going
Savannah District, and the Georgia State Historic Preservation Officer for the construction of the Villa Rica Parkway.
Yes, I'm going to ask Mark Till, our engineer consultant, to go over this agenda item.
Yeah, so Falcon Design, who's designed the Villa Rica Parkway, excuse me, and Nelson Environmental, mainly Nelson Environmental, have been working with the Army Corps engineers for our Section 404 permit for the clean, which is part of Section 404 of the Clean Water Act. So initially discussions with the Army Corps of Engineers were that we were going to have to pay it was a very huge amount in stream credits. And we had another option with that, is to go with a bottomless culvert. That was very expensive. So through multiple iterations going back with the Corps, in regards to 105 Gordon Street and the distance of that structure from the stream that is being impacted on Villa Rica Parkway, the distance is over 350, 400 feet. So the Corps decided, so the Corps' interpretation or their decision was that we don't have to do the bottomless culvert or the pave with the stream credits. Now, their direction has to be approved by SHPA, which is the State Historical Preservation Office. So they have since came up with a requirement that we have to install a sign on the northwest corner of Gordon Street and Villa Rica Parkway at 105 Gordon Street, which essentially says we have to do that within 5 years. It essentially says they've got the specific wording and we have to fill in the blanks. That has to be approved by the Corps and SHPA as well. It doesn't have to be approved in this memorandum of agreement. It just says that we're going to move forward and we have to install this sign within 5 years.
Any questions for staff? Any discussion? Do I have a motion?
Okay, I'll make a motion to ratify the memorandum of agreement with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Savannah District, and the Georgia State Historic Preservation Officer for the construction of the Villa Rica Parkway.
Do I have a second?
I'll
Second.
Oh. All in favor? All opposed?
That is unanimous.
Thank you.
Okay, and the city manager's report. Our interim city manager, Jennifer Hallman.
Good evening. Here's the city manager report for November. Regarding project updates, the stormwater utility study, not much of an update for this month. The next step is January of 2026. We're going to start the creation of a stormwater advisory committee to assist all the elected officials and staff with the evaluation of the city's stormwater management program, and this includes the public relations and education tasks. So they're still working behind the scenes. The consultants, integrated science and engineering, they're working on all of our data that we've provided them, our customer list, our real property tax digest, both from Douglas and Carroll County, and they're linking that to the GIS data. The sanitation in-house versus contracted services, we've met with Malden and Jenkins, who's our consultant on doing this report or study for us. We are now still providing them data so they can refine their data assumptions. The North Side Downtown Streetscape, again, just a reminder, this was grant funded at $1.1 million with a $286,000 match. The draft report has been sent to the GDOT project manager, and we're to start beginning preliminary design, subsurface, utility engineering, and railroad coordination. The Safe Streets for All was also a grant-funded program, $400,000 grant funds with a $100,000 match. We did last week or 2 weeks ago have our public meeting number 2, and we discussed the why and the how behind the crash data. It was pretty well attended. However, if you didn't get to attend, or if you attended and didn't get to take the survey, I believe the survey is still the second survey. We've already had one survey. This would be the second survey, is now available. You can go online, and it was available on our website, or this QR code will take you directly to the survey. I think it will be open for the next week and a half. Villa Rica Parkway, we got the cost estimates, not including right-of-way and easements, of $5.46 million. We're still getting the right-of-way and temporary easement acquisitions are underway. Fortune Parkway, they are still working on a punch list that our engineer and building development director gave them to do. But at the end of the day, the developer would be responsible to complete the road to Anderson Road, construct the deceleration lane on Anderson Road and Old Stone Road, and construct the left turn lane and the Old Stone realignment at Punkintown Road. The North Bypass, As of November 6th last week, per the Atkins construction manager, Astra Construction has submitted a request for a 28-day extension. That extension is currently being reviewed, that request is currently being reviewed, and if granted, it will put the completion date and open to traffic date around the second week of December. They're going to keep us posted as to exactly when the opening date will be, but that is what they're estimating at this time. We have the West Industrial Court culvert replacement of around $184,000. The city has issued the notice to proceed to Blount Construction. In December of this year, next month, we will plan on having the culvert materials delivered. However, we're having to wait on Atlanta Gas Light to schedule to relocate their gas main that conflicts with this proposed culvert, and they plan on doing that in January. The Mirror Lake Boulevard left turn, $447,000. Yesterday, Summit Construction began clearing, and it's estimated 2 months to complete this project, weather permitting. Punkintown Road Phase 1 is $7.42 million plus easement and right-of-ways. Phase 1 is from R-Pit's proposed roundabout, which will be immediately north of Town Creek Drive to a point just north of Parkway Circle. Falcon Design is 90% complete with the construction plans, and they're working on the exhibits for the easements and the right-of-way. Acquisitions will mostly consist of easements and temporary construction easements for driveways. South Carroll at Reed Road, Falcon Engineering completed plans, is working on the right-of-way and easement documents for the Social Security building. There's no utility conflicts except for the gas utility. As you know, we've received $270,000 in project improvement fees from the developer, and Falcon's opinion of probable cost is $1.39 million, excluding right-of-way and easements. Connors Road Park, no update really there. Just keep it on the city manager report just to be able to tell you that we're still looking at, or we will be looking at other options, in-house options, due to the opinion of probable cost for Phase 1 being $2.4 million with a current budget of $593,000. Fortune Park, again, we received a $50,000 grant, and we will be receiving a $30,000 developer contribution. We will begin those discussions on our park options and additional funding that's going to be needed, but our grading is complete. Here's some nice pictures of the Gold Dust Pickleball Courts construction. The in-house grading was completed, and Signature Courts has laser graded, installed gravel base, and paved the site. It's looking good. The bathrooms near the pickleball courts, building maintenance team is building those new restroom facilities. Grading, footing, slab, plumbing, and electrical are all being installed by staff. The tennis courts, the old tennis courts have a subpar subsoil base. Therefore, the Public Works team is adding 1 foot of gravel, matting, and 6-inch crusher run before asphalt can be laid by the contractor. And weather, of course, has been played a big factor on getting this project completed. Ghost train stats, just to let you know, we had a successful ghost train. This year, we had an average of 39 actors per night, 1,820 total actor man hours for 13 total days. We had around 3,704 total riders, with 1,127 being family time riders and 2,577 being scare time riders. And our total sales for both ticket and merchandise was over $48,000.
I have a question about that.
Okay.
How much did the actors charge per hour?
$25.
Oh.
$25 a day. Thank you, Amanda.
Who are the actors?
All various, we pay them as vendors. Wesley and his team find people that like to do that, and
And earn $25 a day.
They earn
Okay.
$25 a day. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because I did the math at an hourly rate. When you put those in, I was like, whoa.
Yes. Keep Carroll Beautiful is having a Tired of Tires event from November 8th through the 15th. You can go on their website to get the details, but just wanted to remind everybody they wanted to get rid of some of their tires laying around. There is an event at the Carroll County Transfer Station. This is just a summary of the November calendar for library events coming up. You can see that they stay really busy and offer a lot of events for all the citizens. Sorry. Same for our senior center. Busy with our seniors for the month of November, all the different events that are available. Upcoming events, we got Christmas on Main, which is Saturday, December the 6th. And then we also have a drop-in shop provided by the Parks and Rec Department, as well as breakfast with Santa and lunch with Santa. The drop-in shop is Saturday, December the 6th, and the breakfast with Santa is December the 13th, with lunch being on the same day. Oops, it's okay. Last but not least is, now that we're done with the Ghost Train, we have now the Winter Wonderland. You can go online to the website to get to this information, but you can also go to the QR code, and that's where you can purchase tickets, and the calendar is also available online. And that is it.
Okay. Any questions for Ms. Warmoth?
Can I just say that Thrill at the Mill, I heard great things about Thrill at the Mill. I unfortunately I was unable to attend because I had children in sports, so I couldn't miss that. But Parks and Rec won, best costume, best booth, whatnot. I saw the pictures. It was absolutely incredible. But yeah, so I just wanted to say thank you to the staff for doing such a great job with that.
Absolutely.
And I was there, and the Parks and Rec staff went all out. They had a high caliber booth. I don't see anybody.
I know, I was looking for Tracy.
She's not here, but they had a high caliber booth. They got into character. Their costumes were amazing. They did an amazing job, and they stayed on theme too, which I love.
Yes.
All right, I think that's all we have for the city manager's report. And now, Ms. Smith, would you read for executive session?
Yes, Nicole Smith, City Attorney, pursuant to Georgia Code Section 50-14-3, we would like to meet to discuss or vote to enter into a contract to purchase, dispose of, or lease property.
I'll make that motion.
Second. All in favor?
All right, we're in executive
All
session.
right, we are in executive session. Do you have a motion to reconvene?
Yep. So move.
Second, all in favor? Anybody opposed?
That is unanimous.
Okay. David, do you say it or I say it, that no motion, or Nicole says it? I can say it. There is no action taken. Do I
Make a
have a-
motion to adjourn.